and they did. They beat Wilcox Tech or somebody 12-8 in the first game, and then they shut out 1-0 in the game. So, all right, it is a very exciting time here in the ECC world. We've got that sweet spot of championship games occurring in volleyball and soccer and field hockey, and we've got football down the stretch heading towards Thanksgiving and then into the playoffs. And, of course, Mike DiMauro is here. Now, normally, Mike, we talk about the football breakdown, the playoffs, and we will do that. We'll get a chance. We'll look at your top 10. We'll look at the changes. We'll talk about each bracket and how they've changed. But I want to start quickly. I want to give a shout-out. 2 ECC teams have already made. Now, this is a previous shout-out to all the guys cross-country, things like that have already occurred. But we've got 2 teams in championships, the East Lyme girls volleyball team, the Stonington boys soccer team, and then if East Lyme boys can win their semifinal tonight, we'll have the East Lyme boys soccer team as well. So there's a chance at 3 state championship teams. So I just briefly want to acknowledge them, starting with volleyball, where East Lyme has been the best team all year long. 1 loss to Ram, haven't lost since. They don't even let you win a set. And to get the state championship, they will have to go through an iconic Bristol Eastern team. Some common opponents, Farmington, Bristol Eastern lost, East Lyme won. Like, there's some good teams in there, but, man, Bristol Eastern doesn't give up championships easily, and that's going to be that'll be a heck of a state championship run for Jack Biggs and East Lyme.
Well, of course, in case one of East Lyme's best players is Gigi Arnaud, an Italian exchange student, Sicily actually. So I did want to point that out. No, but they have been like there. Well, we game day was at the ECC final, and that did that go about an hour, if that?
And ironically, they got Woodstock Academy, who was very, very good. They got him in the semifinals, and I had to beat him for a 4th time. If you're Woodstock Academy, by the way, you're like, can we get out of the East Lyme's way? Because they might be playing for a state championship if they were on the other side of the bracket, because they're very good. But East Lyme doesn't even give up a set. I mean, they're just in juggernaut mode right now. But to beat Bristol would mean not only beating a team that's got a ton of state championships in Bristol Central, but also the likelihood of giving up a set. Like that, I think it's gone up a little bit. So now it's 2 teams that don't even give up sets.
Oh, it's just win, baby, on Friday or Saturday now.
So hopefully East Lyme girls, we'd love to see take it home. Jack Biggs and company shooting for another state championship, not since 2010, 2011, since they went back-to-back.
And before you move on to soccer, just to acknowledge the fall that East Lyme athletics are having. Sam Leone, state open cross-country champion.
That's right.
Sylvie Otter, the Class M diving champ, going on to the state open diving this week. And I'm sure I'm probably missing somebody else.
Volleyball and soccer possibilities. Yeah, it has been a remarkable. Kevin Marcoux, the athletic director there. It's a Marcoux. All right, he's reveling. Hey, I got news for you. Start the fundraising now, because there's going to be a lot of requests for rings and other things in East Lyme.
Well, yeah, and they actually need it right now because the boys' soccer team needs to catch its flight.
Okay,
to Waterbury for the
we'll segue
for the neutral site semifinal.
So wait a minute. So they're playing Wethersfield.
Yes. Okay. So we have east of the river, on the river, and we're going to play west of the river.
Maybe I'm struggling with my geography, but if I'm in East Lyme and I want to get to Wethersfield, I just go I go down the shoreline a little bit, and then I just cut over
right up Route
other
9.
side of Middletown, right?
Yep.
Waterbury is up really far away. Wouldn't a place, I don't know, wouldn't a place like Glastonbury be more of a neutral
NFA.
site? And wouldn't that be more of a neutral site?
Sure.
But we're going to send them to Waterbury.
So the reason for all this is that schools do not want to step up and host these games because they actually lose money because CIAC does not properly reimburse them for everything that you need to put on a game.
So the scorer.
Scorer.
Scoreboard operator.
Scoreboard operator.
All of the field supplies.
Supplies. Security.
That's so I'm paying all of that. But if I'm the host school, at least I get a portion of the ticket sales.
No, you don't. You get
Wait
nothing.
a minute. I'm paying for to host the game. So what do I get? Concessions?
Yes, you do. You get to keep your.
It's a lot of popcorn I got to sell, Mike.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm volunteering.
Yeah. So
why would I do that?
Exactly, and which is why the East Lyme kids, they're going 66 miles at night
to play a neutral site game.
Play a neutral site game.
And they're the home team.
Yes, and they have to bring they have to bring soccer balls. They have to bring the trainer. They have to bring water. They have to bring everything.
Their pajamas.
Yeah.
Are they stopping in Wethersfield to give them a ride as well?
They could. So that's the funny part, Peter, is they could share busing because they do literally have to drive 35 minutes to get to the school that they are then both going to go an hour for. That's, you know what? Let's see what the C's in CIAC stand for. And it's not
cheap.
It's not cunning or clever.
Yeah.
Cheap works. If East Lyme can get past Wethersfield, and East Lyme has had until that big win over Middletown where they finally kind of broke loose. Let's find out if that really shook them loose offensively because I had gotten a couple of messages from some of the East Lyme parents going like, I can't do this nail biter thing. Like 1-0 over E.O. Smith, Cam Mazerel in goal for E.O. Smith. And they're like, yeah, we have to go to overtime to win. But then they broke out against Middletown. So if they hold their part against Wethersfield, I'm looking at Simsbury in the final. And the reason is Simsbury has shut out 5 of their last 6 opponents, and their scores in the tournament, they won 1-0, they won 1-0, and they won 1-0. 3 1-0 games for Simsbury. And if you look at their scores, they don't give up goals either. So East Lyme and Simsbury has a chance to be one of those first goal wins.
Colin would not like that you said that.
Nil?
Nil.
You prefer nil?
Thank you. Yes.
Prefer nil? Okay.
Right.
Love? Oh, that's tennis. That's tennis, wrong.
Right.
So, yep, shout out to the East Lyme boys. They got a little bit of work left. Take care of, enjoy the trip to Waterbury. The bus ride home. I will just tell you that the bus ride home from Waterbury is a lot better after a win than a loss. And then finally, I don't know, in my neck of the woods, and Peter, feel free to weigh in on this as well. In my neck of the woods, Stonington making a state championship is never an upset in boys soccer. But I think for the rest of the state, they looked at number 1 Weston and number 5 Stonington, and that victory feels like an upset. Now Stonington gets into the final where they'll play either Plainville or Tolland, and I think either one of those teams, that's going to make a great final. But Stonington, we talked a lot about, they didn't even make the ECC final, and they have a chance at a state championship.
So I did find out one of the Stonington kids was talking to the rest of the team, telling them about the night FDU beat Purdue in the NCAA tournament. So I think that's how they viewed, beating number 1. It's great. And I am told that Sal Alessio last night tied the game-winning goal, tied Sam Montalto's school record.
Yes.
So if he gets one, whatever day, it could be Saturday or Sunday.
Right.
I'm sure it'll be at the most inconvenient time possible.
Of course it will be.
But anyway, he gets the.
I love the fact that the kids were painting themselves as underdogs, but I don't ever consider Stonington to be an underdog.
Well, no. 2019 Class M champion, 2021 Class M champion,
right?
2023 Class M finalist.
Yeah, I don't consider that. That's a statewide. I mean, I'm thinking if I was Weston, look, and I'm the number 1 seed, like the last team I wanted to see in a semifinal was Stonington because I'm looking at the pedigree and true to form, they win. True, probably an upset, but again, I love, we talk about the ECC from a statewide perspective, and for every year we talk about like football being down, we should remember that there are years like this where a team that can't even make the ECC championship might win a state championship.
So we do. There's one other team that we need to talk about. There is a soccer coach in this room who won a big championship.
Talking about a 15U Connecticut Cup championship.
Right.
That is correct, for
That's
Waterford's 15U team. Well, they were featured with the number 1 play in the grade 8 because we went going back to Cali. Cali Harbor scored the game-winning goal in the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the finals on their way to a state championship. Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. And what's interesting, and I'm going to tie this back to what we were just talking about with Stonington. As Peter and I talked about their journey to a state championship, these girls have been playing against, for example, the girls from Stonington. They know them all really well. They play against them all the time. And if you look at the future of Waterford soccer, the future of Stonington, like we're going to be doing a lot of Waterford girls soccer games and Stonington girls soccer games moving forward. I think similarly, East Lyme's U15 team won the boys Connecticut Cup.
They lost in the final.
Oh, they lost in the finals. All right, they lost in the finals.
Wally's
so
loaded again, though.
That's where I'm going with that. Like the rich get richer. Oh, they lost in the finals. That's a shame. All right, so congratulations to the East Lyme girls volleyball team and to the Stonington soccer team boys for getting to the finals. We wish you the best of luck. East Lyme boys, take care of business tonight and head to the finals, and we'll have 3 ECC teams in the most recent finals. Let's move to football. But as we go through these, we're going to talk about where the ECC teams reside, what they need to do, and we're going to talk specifically about a couple of players who had award-winning efforts this past week. But we'll start in Double L, where. Am I reading that right? New Britain is the...
They've been hot. They've been hot.
That is first time I'm seeing this. New Britain right now is the number 1 team and they are 7-1.
Don't forget, Fairfield Prep lost to Hand.
Right. Yeah.
Greenwich lost to Wilton.
Yeah.
And Fitch did NFA no favors by losing to West Haven, who moved into the 8 spot.
Correct. So let's take a look now. Fairfield Prep stayed at 2 despite the loss to Hand. Greenwich stayed at 3 despite the loss. So right now, qualifying at 4-4 is West Haven. West Haven's 2 remaining games are against 7-1 Hand and 4-4 North Haven.
Nice knowing you.
West Haven will lose one of those
least.
games, right? Possibly both, but one of those games.
Yes.
So NFA sits at number 9. Their remaining 2 games are against Wyndham and New London. Can we say that they would be a heavy favorite in both of those 2 games?
Heavy against Wyndham, I don't know about New London.
Moderate favorite in both. Okay. If they finish 6-4, there is the other teams behind them, Trumbull, Notre Dame, West, those guys can't catch them if they finish 6-4. Mm-hmm. We just said that West Haven's going to lose a game.
We think.
Well, and that's what we're doing here. We've got the crystal ball. We're doing the prediction.
Right.
That's not even talking about, Danbury, Southington, Glastonbury, and Staples, all of whom are 5-3 and who could lose games.
They could certainly lose.
Staples has Fairfield, Ludlow, and Greenwich. Glastonbury still has Windsor. Southington has Maloney and Cheshire. So there's a good chance that there's going to be a big mush of 6-4. So NFA, if they handle their business, not only should get in, but there's a chance that they could be even as high as maybe a 7.
Could.
And we're not even going to try to figure out what that means. So NFA right now, we don't do guns. We don't do gun to your head. We do.
I don't want to say they control their own destiny, but they do.
Well, That is such a what a great. You should run for office with that.
I can't because I can't say that. My phone. Sorry, I wanted to turn it off and I can't. Anyway, I because West Haven could win those games, but it's unlikely.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over. I don't want. Listen, I would never say that you're a waffling fool who can't make a choice.
However,
okay. So yes or no? NFA's in.
yes.
Okay. Moving on to L, which means, by the way, that would be one ECC team on football in the postseason. All right. Moving on to L. The highlights of L are simply the fact that New Canaan is the team that Killingly's trying to catch. They are 8-0. They will. Their only real test left will be Darien, which is absolutely a test in so much as it's the big rivalry and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. So, Darien, who is 6-2 and rated 4, does have a chance. But the question, I guess, is who's the best team? Who's the team with the best chance to beat New Canaan?
If it's not Darien, it's Cheshire because Cheshire's been hot. Earlier in the season, maybe week 3, they won at hand.
They also have Amity and Southington left.
It's
so
not easy.
Not easy. So they'll qualify, but they might not be.
I would give them and Darien a chance, but not a great one.
Which will bring us to the inevitable Killingly New Canaan conundrum that we'll talk about when we get there. Let's move to Class Double M. You got an 8-0 team up there at number 1, Wilton. Wilton has some significance because their top 10 ranking was impacted this past week. Windsor, who got beat by Southington, is at 2. Fitch right now sits at 8. They've got New London and Ledyard. For the purposes of this, let's say they win the New London game. They go to 5-4. Now let's also be reminded that the Valley Panthers sit at 9. Valley has Amistad, who's a team they will beat, and then Griswold.
Who's a team they won't beat.
And Griswold will need the win to get in as well. So, from a Fitch standpoint, does 5-5 get them in as they roll into that game on? If you concede Valley loses to Griswold, Massac still has Newtown. Cheney Tech, could they sneak in?
No. To me, the game, I would not expect Massac to beat Newtown. But if they do, that is a double L win, so that's 120 points plus.
Yeah, but if they do, they're going to finish 6-4. And I'm saying if Fitch finishes 5-5,
you're saying,
meaning they lose to Ledyard, Valley's going to lose another game.
Yeah.
And the Amistad win, so Valley won't catch Fitch. Can Massac catch Fitch, beating Pomperog but losing to Newtown?
No, I don't think so.
So then, could Cheney
so
Tech
Fitch
finish?
Fitch could conceivably make it at 5-5, although that would be a travesty.
It would be, and then they'd get someone like Wilton or Windsor in the first round, and that would be tough.
Nothing
tough
against, nothing against Fitch. It's just the concept of a 5-5 team making it when we've seen 10-0 teams back in the old days not make it. That's wrong.
And this goes back to our conversation about these playoffs and that the fact that there's too many teams getting in. You should not. I accept the argument that you should be able to absorb a loss and still get in the postseason, right? So back in the day, some of our great New London Fitch teams, they went in 9-0, and you're like, if we don't go 10-0, we can't get in. Right? There was times, obviously, rare time, but Fitch didn't get in at 10-0. But you should be 9-1 and be able to make the postseason. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with 8-2. I start getting, if you lose 3 times, I don't know that you should. I certainly don't think you should be able to finish 500 and get in the postseason. And I think there's going to be multiple places where that is the case. So, all right. Does Fitch get in?
No.
All right, we'll move to Class M, where the Redcoats are 8-0. That's Berlin High School. They're 8-0, and they've got Middletown as their only other real challenge, not for anything other than statewide significance. But if you look at Class M, nobody from the ECC anywhere near it.
No one cares.
So we can move on from that. I guess the only question I have is Guilford good enough to beat Hand?
Maybe we should go do this in a bus terminal where it's quieter next week. We should explain.
We got there. If the people at home can hear buzzing in the background, it's only because there's work being done in the parking structure below us right now. So can Guilford beat Hand?
No.
Okay. So then we can turn the page. All right. So now would be a good time, Peter, if you would, to put up Mike's top 10 vote, because we're about to get to Class SS. But looking at your ballot, you have Wilton at number 3. Evidently, the state feels not only like you do, but maybe that they should be even higher than number 3.
Well, it's funny to me. I believe in the preseason poll when we voted the first one on September whatever. I don't think Wilton got a vote, and now they are up to 3rd in the state and 2 points behind Killingly. Here's a team nobody knew that they had a team 7 weeks ago, eight weeks ago, and now they're this close. I don't get it.
Well, in fairness, Killingly started the year at where in the poll?
3.
So, I mean, Killingly has vaulted up to number 2, and they've had a very marginal season. I mean, they're not averaging 52 points, which would be a state record if it ended today. They certainly haven't given Jonathan Law their only loss, or smacked Massick around, or beat up on Bishop Hendricken, or had no close games whatsoever. And so this is a great example of it's better to be unheard of and have a big season because you become the darling of the polls.
The FCAC, that's all you got to do.
All Killingly needs to do is just beat everybody by 100 points, and they still can't. Not only can they not catch New Canaan, they're getting caught from behind. Now, looking at your poll, though, one thing does stand out, and that's the team at number 4. Daniel Hand, who's going to be 4, maybe as high as 3, depending on what happens with Wilton and Hand, is the potential final for Class SS with Killingly. If Killingly beats Hand, will that resonate with the voters?
Yes, because Hand has already won at St. Joe's, and they beat Fairfield Prep the other night. That is now a quality win, a major win. I still think Killingly would have to. A win is great. A decisive win might move the needle.
So I'm going to ask you the same question that Peter asked me. If New Canaan wins their state championship 17-14, and Killingly were to beat a Hand 52-7, is there a case to make Killingly number 1?
There's a case. I think it would be, for me, based on at the championship game how much the other voters annoy me, because I could see myself going, you know what, I'm just going to do this. But on principle, I can't justify the number 1 team being undefeated, number 1, and a state champion and drop. I can't do it.
And it's New Canaan. It's not like it's a team that hasn't won.
It's New Canaan.
It hasn't won multiple championships. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, looking at your ballot real quick, you seem to have all the teams. You give Southington a lot of love, and that's off of the beating of Windsor.
They didn't beat Windsor. They beat them up, and they've been hot. And they have. Don't sleep on them in Double L either.
See, Peter, this is like my power rankings: a 5-3 team at number 9 ahead of an 8-0 team at number 11. Mike embraces the same concept.
Well, don't forget, Southington's double L, Berlin's M. So there's a difference there.
Thus the power rankings.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about Class Double S. Killingly is at 1. And then you've got powerhouse programs like Hand at 3 and Law at 4. Ellington at 5, right? Ledyard sits at 6. On the other side, you see New Fairfield, and right now hanging in at number 8, Waterford. And let's not forget that to go to an old Imus in the morning, which doesn't belong in Hawaii. At number 2, the 7-0 Nanawag Chiefs. And I want to be clear, I am in no way making fun of or insulting Nanawag. 7-0 is 7-0, and
I will.
And they've had a good team. But I will lob you this softball. Do they belong in the conversation with Killingly, Hand, Law, Ellington?
No. Or Ledyard. No. But this is our lovely system.
Now, we're going to find out a little bit about Nanawag against Bacon Academy. Their last 2 games are against Amistad, who hasn't won a game, and our own
Bobcats.
TRC.
No, it's TRC.
We're going to find out about them against Bacon, though, because Bacon's 500 team. Bacon's been competitive with everybody. Even the games they've lost, they've been competitive, right? Losses, 2 points, 3 points, they're in the game. So we're going to find out when they play Nanawag. Now, that game is at Nanawag, I believe, which means Bacon leaves tonight.
Right.
And because not because it's so far, because no one can find it.
I've actually been there.
I'm sure it's lovely, but
you can't get there from here.
No, it's one of those weird, and not like Bacon is easily accessible either. It's another place that's kind of out of the well. So they'll get there. If Bacon competes with Nanawag and that game's close, it kind of justifies that Nanawag's not for real. But if I'm in Class Double S, aren't I like jockeying to get into the 7 spot to try to take on Nanawag at number 2? Isn't that the closest thing to a layup that I have in the first round?
Yeah, sure. And it's, you can't manipulate your way into a seeding.
Right.
It is kind of it's where you fall, but they will be, somebody's gonna be lighting candles.
So Ledyard, by getting up to the number 6, now they do not have an easy game left either. Stonington and then Fitch, but we're gonna give them the Stonington win because for the purposes of our debate. If they roll in 7-2 on Thanksgiving, it looks like they can absorb a loss.
Yes.
And still get
Looks
in.
that way.
You don't love it because it might put you at 8, and you have to open with Killingly, which isn't great. But it could put them at 7 and put them in a better spot than that. So we'll have to see where that falls. But looking at Waterford, who sits at the 8th spot, ironically, they're playing Killingly this week, assuming that does not go well for them and they lose to Killingly. If they managed to beat East Lyme on Thanksgiving, which, by the way, is not only not a given, they're probably the underdog. They would finish at 6-4. Would 6-4 get them in?
I think so.
Because Creek still has Weaver, Plainville, East Catholic, and Farmington. Like the teams that can get to 7-3, Granby, who still has to play North Branford. Like it looks like, again, a hodgepodge of 6-4.
So, okay, so the question becomes, is this be careful what you wish for? Because if they do get in at 6-4, they'll probably have to play Killingly twice in a 3 or 4 week period, and that's not what you want.
Well, to Peter's question about why do we want 604 teams in the playoffs, and your answer, because it gives them a playoff experience. Let's find out if Waterford really likes that.
Yeah, I mean, that is the answer that they give. I
believe it's because the
ridiculous,
one of the C's in CIAC stands for cash.
Yeah. Well, I agree, but I'm just, I think I would rather not make it than have to subject myself to that.
So let's talk real quick about 2 huge efforts this past week from these two schools in Class S. Let's start with Killingly High School's Hayden Allard, who broke the state record for career interception returns for a touchdown, as well as the single season record for interception returns for a touchdown. His 6th career and 5th of the season. The previous record for career was 5, and the previous single season was 4. Single season was held in part by Jamal Johnson of New London, who had 4 in 1987 and then none his last 2 years, which I can only imagine is because no one threw it to his side of the field. But do you know who sits atop the list that Hayden Allard just beat? Who was 5 pick sixes?
I don't.
Peter Wappy, who had 5 pick sixes.
That would be Bobby V.
Oh, no kidding.
Bobby Valentine.
That's a good stat.
Yeah. Back in, we had I know Peter has it, so.
Oh, I'm going to use that.
And tied with a couple others.
Yeah, there were a couple others, but Bobby V.
He was
had
the notable name. I'll pull that up in a sec for you.
Thank you. Yeah. Bobby V. Yeah. So, to get to the record, he dethrones Jamal Johnson and Bobby V. 2 pretty big names locally and nationally. Sure. So, Hayden Allard gets there, and we saw Killingly. Man, were they impressive. The other one was in Ledyard, where Jackson Favre ran for 6,000 yards. So, Peter, Bobby V played for?
Rippewam from 1965 to 67.
Stanford.
Yeah,
So also with 5 career interception returns for a touchdown, Phil Pope of Simsbury, 66 to 68, and Ben Mason of Newtown, 2015, 2016.
Ben Mason,
He went to Michigan.
Yeah. Now, the funny part is the first 2 guys were from an era that we don't associate with throwing the football.
Right.
How do you get 5 career interception returns for a touchdown when you only throw it 5 times a game? And the answer to that, I think, is when you did throw it and it got picked off, it was going the other way. So, but yeah, that's a great list.
And so you mentioned Jamal Johnson in there with 4, with 3 career touchdown returns. I would quiz you on this, but it'll take too much time. Jelani Lucas and Ben Jacks.
Ben Jacks, Killingly.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jelani Lucas in London. So, it's a good list. And now Hayden Allard is at the top of that list. It's pretty good. So back to Jordan Favre. I just call him Jordan?
Yes, Jackson.
Jackson
is in Jordan's. Yes. Jackson Favre. 400 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. Put that into perspective.
Well, so they've been playing high school football in Connecticut for 150 years. And 22 players in 150 years have rushed for 400 yards in a game.
And he's one of them.
And he's one of them.
Any other notables that come to mind?
The EC Jeremiah Crowley at Montville had 526 in 2013. Soren Reef had 430 something in 2023. Jamal had 427
against
Ledyard.
That's right.
In 88. And a Woodstock kid, and I should know this. I just did the research. He had over 517 against Quinnebog.
Cameron Janis.
Thank you. Right. Anyway, the Favre story is great. I did go to. I went up there to talk to him the other day, and Mike Siricchio didn't go as far as to say he wasn't in our plans for this year, but he said, he thought he was going to be like a fill-in player, and then all of a sudden, he's gone.
Yeah,
he's been great. He's a player of the year candidate.
He is, and that's going to be the question that I'm going to end on. So table that for 1 second, because he is part of now what has become running back U. Just like Killingly seems to, you go back, Spencer Lockwood transitions to Jack Sharp, transitions to Soren Reef, transitions to Hayden Allard. It's like every year Killingly churns out a new running back. Ledyard, when's the last time Ledyard hasn't had, and not for nothing, the playmaker, game day favorite James Green, is killing it at Springfield right now.
I forgot about James Green. So, in addition to becoming now he's part of the state record book. He has the school record.
That's right.
And you think about Mike Daggett, Bydro Williams, Alex Manwaring,
Yeah.
Tim McNeil, James Green, A.J. Adamek.
Yeah.
And now
Manny, DeShields
Yeah.
Sanabria had a huge year for them. There's others.
Ziti, right?
Well,
Was
that's
it-
James Smith was a little Ziti.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But anyway, and now Jackson Favorite, and the thing that they were pointing out at Ledyard the other day was, he got 401 yards on 20 carries. They didn't give it to him 50 times.
That's right. Yeah. He's which I would suggest that the two of them are probably leading candidates, Allard and Favory, for Player of the Year in the ECC. I mean, they're certainly in the mix. You got to go to Griswold.
Colby Mills.
So you go to Griswold. There's where the question goes here for me, though. I look at Killingly and I go, well, Allard, right? He's their number one running back. He's also their best, he's defensive back. But then you look at his brother, and you look at the quarterback, and
Sumner,
and you start going, okay. You go to Griswold, and you go, well, you got Nick Waters, you got Cutter.
Yeah.
You look at Ledyard, and I no disrespect to Grimm or Streckfist, right? It's Favory.
You're right.
So it might, and we keep asking, how long can Ledyard win, giving it to one guy and everyone knowing it's coming, and the answer is we're going to find out.
Well, I asked Jackson that the other day, and he goes, "We'll throw when they stop the run." I'm like, okay,
Again,
I like that.
Public service message as a baseball coach. I had a kid throw 35 straight fastballs, and no one could even foul it off. And he kept shaking off wanting to throw a breaking ball. And I'm like, you're going to have to explain to me why that is.
True.
Same idea. Like the desire to get tricky and throw one. I love the discipline of Siricchio, which is like, I'm not like, I'll keep running these back. We're going to take a very, very quick look here at Class S, because in Class S, we have the aforementioned Griswold team. Now, we talked about multiple teams at 5-5 with a chance to get in. And there's Griswold at 6-2, hanging on for dear life to the number 8 spot, knowing that if they can't beat East Lyme, by the way, they have East Lyme and Valley. Again, not a given on either one. They're probably the favorites in both, but certainly not easy. They're going to need to finish 8-2, and at 8-2, they might jump Bloomfield because Bloomfield still has to play Windsor, but they're probably not going to get any higher than 7 at 8-2. And there's teams we're talking about. Fitch could get 7 at 5 5-5, 6-4.
I make Griswold a dark horse to win a state. To win a state championship. Now, I know they might have to play Seymour again, and Seymour did beat them first game. That was the first game. This is now the NVL's really not that good either. I'm telling you.
3 8-0 teams in S, Woodland, Seymour, and Cromwell. And the team that scares me there, if I'm Griswold,
is Cromwell.
That's actually not the team that scares me. No, it's Sheehan.
Oh, Sheehan too. Yeah.
The reason is Cromwell scares me because that's a legit.
Sheehan's good.
Legit program.
We saw them. Yeah.
But like if I'm Griswold, worst case scenario for me is having to play like a Sheehan semifinal, Cromwell Seymour final. That's tough. But I promise you, if you were to ask, like, we talked about, hey, you finish 8, your gift is Killingly. Is there a worse 8 team? If you're Woodland, you're like, I get to go undefeated, and that's the team I get to play in the first round?
Yes. I got to deal with Mills and Cutter and Waters, and the only team Ledyard could not block this year.
And that was a Kiki in the middle. But let's talk for a second. So you said yes, NFA is in. You said no, Fitch is not. You said yes to Waterford?
If they want it, yeah.
Okay. Yes to Griswold?
Yeah.
Yes to Ledyard?
Yes.
Yes to Killingly?
Yes.
That's 5.
Not bad.
5.
Not
now,
bad.
we have one state championship. We'll call them the favorite, Killingly.
Mm-hmm.
We have one state championship dark horse. Can any of those other teams win a game?
Well, you're going to love this answer. Depends on the matchup. But yes, I think Ledyard can win a game. I do. But you know how the playoffs are.
I do.
It's like the NCAA tournament. Who did we draw?
Yeah. So Peter, I know you're off air, so it's a disembodied voice coming from. But this is a question I do want your short answer on this one, which is: is there any conference other than the ECC that is going to benefit more from these playoffs in terms of people getting in at, so we talked about it. 6 teams seems like a lot for a conference that we actually did a segment on where we said they stink at football. So you would ask the question about going to this number of teams. Do we benefit more than any other conference at these expanded playoffs?
I mean, so I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of who is in what conference, but it does seem like ECC has got a monopoly on 8 seeds.
You hit it. You couldn't have said it any better. I mean, we're going to get Killingly at the 1, and everyone else that we talked. I mean, Ledyard has a chance to maybe be at 5. Everybody else we're talking about is, 7 and 8s. So yeah, under that logic, no one benefits more from the ECC than us. Now, Griswold might be the argument for why it's a good thing, because you're saying they're a dark horse state championship team at the 8 seed. Waterford's an example of maybe, or NFA about why it's a bad thing.
Yeah, but if you constricted the playoffs and combined some of these divisions, I think you're still talking about Griswold getting in with 2 losses, not teams getting in with 4 losses and 5 losses.
I'd love to come up with a structure for that. We'll put
Griswold should be a playoff team,
correct,
based on their record,
and the eye test.
Yes,
that's a playoff team.
Some of the other teams we're talking about are nice stories, and I like them.
Yes,
and it makes me happy to see them being successful.
Yes.
But if we try to be objective about it, it's very hard to make an argument that a team with a 500 record or one game over 500
correct,
deserves a playoff spot.
If you said to me what ECC teams are their quality of work this year is that of a playoff team, what I think of as a playoff team, I give you 2.5. Right now, today, the answer is Killingly 100% and Griswold 100%, including their 2 losses. Ledyard's a yes if they win if they win their last 2 games and they're 8-2 as well. The answer is yes. Those 3 teams should all be in. And feel good story. Yeah, I love NFA. I want them in. It's a great story. It shouldn't be. They're not a playoff team. Neither's Fitch. Neither's Waterford. It's a stretch, and we'll see what happens with it. But it is. I like that line. ECC has a monopoly on 8 seeds. I think that's a good way of saying it. So just like we're saying, Stonington cannot win the ECC soccer, can't even get to the ECC soccer final, but they can win a state championship. We saw Fitch cheerleading win state championships where they couldn't win the ECC. That's a testament to your conference. We've got teams getting into these playoffs that probably don't belong there. So
well, and we're going to have we have 3 teams contending for a division championship within the ECC and a 4-team division.
I don't want to be that. I don't even want to know who the 4th team is. They don't want to weigh in on that. But yeah, it's Woodstock, Waterford, and Ledyard, because Waterford beat Ledyard and Ledyard beat Woodstock and Woodstock beat Waterford, and everybody else they played the same, so it becomes down to the final PowerPoints.
Right.
That's the way we're gonna. So
there's a banner though up there that they'll have.
Try nutmeg champions. So next week we will do the power rankings once again, and then we will have a much more definitive look, and we'll be able to definitively say these teams need to win and what that looks like heading in. Also next week, I'm going to tease it, a huge announcement coming from the game day desk regarding basketball. A huge announcement regarding basketball for the people out there wondering what it's about. Next Tuesday, we'll have a big announcement regarding our basketball. Not the schedule, but more about presentation. We'll go that way. Is that a good tease? Did I tease that well?
Well done.
Thank you. All right, for Peter Wappy, Mike DiMauro, hey, come in, tell us who you think the best player in the ECC is, the teams that belong, the teams that don't belong, and anything else that you might want to weigh.